Welcome to the Thrive Perspective. Are you just surviving in your life? Are you ready to thrive in your life? Well, yes, I bet you are, and that's why you're tuning in today. And I am so glad that you are here. Hi, I'm Rena Romano, and the Thrive Perspective is an innovative approach to help you get back to happy. Stop living in the what ifs so that you can get unstuck and start living an unstoppable life. I hope you're ready. So let's get started with today's program. Are you having a great day? I bet you are. That's why you stopped by. Woohoo! Thanks for stopping by today. It is a great day. And today I want to talk about acceptance. And you know what? I found that the real route to success is acceptance of what is and what was. And so what do I mean by that? Acceptance. Well, the term acceptance has various meanings. Let's say when someone makes an offer to another person, they either accept the proposal or not. Another meaning is if someone gives a gift and the other person receives it, then they have accepted the gift. Therefore, there is acceptance. But another definition of acceptance has to do with positive welcome or an endorsement. Let's say you like someone and you accept them as they are and you approve of them. Another description is that acceptance can be an act of believing of what is or is not. Eckhart Tolle is a spiritual teacher, and his definition of acceptance is a "this is it" response to anything occurring in the moment of life. It is what it is. Nothing more, nothing less. Acceptance of reality as it truly is. And we all have our own reality-based thoughts. But the definition of acceptance I want to share with you today is acceptance of what is and what was. In other words, acceptance of the past. You see, I spent many years stuck in the shame of my past childhood, and I was stuck in what I call the what ifs. Yes, the what ifs. What if my past hadn't happened? Where would my life be? Would I be happy? Would I be richer? Would I be more successful? Would I not be living in this hell of the what ifs if my abuse hadn't happened? It was torture. Yeah, I have to tell you, it was sheer torture living in the what ifs. It was a living hell because the past was just that, in the past. But I refused to leave it in the past. I wallowed in self-pity for years of what happened to me. I don't know. I guess I wanted to be right about all the wrongs done to me. I continued the abuse in a form of self-abuse. Yeah. I mean, the abuse was over, but I kind of continued the abuse and suffering in it in my own mind every day. I just couldn't let it go. I think subconsciously maybe I had to stay stuck to continue to suffer. Part of that, I think, is I didn't know how to not be a victim because most of my earlier life I had been. Has that happened to you? Have you ever been wronged, maybe cheated on, lied to, betrayed by a friend? Are you a survivor of abuse? If so, are you still stuck? Or have you been able to cross over that bridge to the other side of acceptance? Have you been able to let go and move on? Yeah, I've been reading a really great book, and I suggest that you check it out. It's called Loving What Is by Byron Katie. And she shares 4 questions that can change your life. It's really simple, really quite simple. 4 questions. And the first question is it true? That's it. Is it true? Question 2, can you absolutely know that it's true? Question 3, how do you react? What happens when you believe that thought? And question 4, Who would you be without that thought? She gets really in depth, and I'm not going to go there. That's her work, and she calls it the work. It's really cool. But let's look at question number 1. Is it true? Such a simple question. Is my child abuse true? Well, yes, it is true. It happened. It is reality. And me, myself, and I was continuing to suffer when I lived in the what ifs. It hadn't happened. You see, I had to answer that question. Is it true? Did it happen? Yes, it did. But the shame was so consuming, and it was keeping me from living my life. So let's look at this a little differently. Can I change what happened to me? Is that true? Well, no, it's not true. I cannot change the past any more than you can. Wow, that would be some great superpowers if we could do that, right? A little hocus pocus, maybe? Let's think about this together. What if you and I had the opportunity to change the past? Would you? Sit with that for a moment. If you had to change the past, anything that's happened to you, the really bad stuff, of course, we don't want to change the good stuff, but any of the bad things that's ever happened to you, if you had the chance to change your past, would you? Something to think about. Here's something else to think about. Do you think Oprah would have turned out the way she has if she had changed her past? Man, she's a mega rich icon, a powerful woman now, and she acknowledges and accepts the past, all the good, the bad, and the ugly of it. Think about some of your mentors, the people you admire. Would they be who they are if they could go back and change their life? Interesting question. So I'll ask myself, so would I change my past? Well, there was a time I probably would have said yes. But when I switched my expectation of life to an appreciation for my life began to have greater meaning. And I realized that all the things that I've gone through has brought me to this moment. It's brought you and I right here to this moment. You're listening to this. It's brought us right here together. And the reality is we can't change the past. So why can't we accept what is? Well, part of that is based around shame. But see, I grew tired of being ashamed of a crime I didn't commit. And I had to learn to forgive myself. Yeah, I did. We have to learn self-acceptance. Self-acceptance is being satisfied with one's current self. It is an agreement with yourself to appreciate, validate, and support the self as it is, despite any deficiencies or negative past behavior on my part or anybody else's negative behavior towards me. People have trouble accepting the past and accepting themselves. When people say, Rena, why didn't you stop the abuse? Well, why is it my job or yours to stop bad behavior by someone else? We don't ask why the perpetrator did it in the first place, right? Anyway, my point is this. The reality is it happened, plain and simple. We can't change what happened. But what we can change is how that reality of that event is controlling us. And somebody said to me once, they said, you are not responsible to what happened to you, but you are 100% responsible now as an adult for your life. Man, that was like a slap up beside the head. I am responsible 100% for my life. I can't change the past, and neither can you. And when I stopped living in the what if, my past didn't happen, and I started accepting that it did happen, and started looking not as a victim, but started looking at myself as a victor, that really helped me change the view of what I've gone through. You see, the Thrive perspective is about looking at things differently because there is always another way to look at things. Okay? There is always another way to look at things. In other words, I started focusing on the survival traits of what I lived through instead of focusing on the event, the abuse. And when I studied the attributes of survival, I found that it highlights courage and strength, tenacity and perseverance. And these are the successful coping strategies of resilient victims. And once I accepted my past and began looking at what it took to survive those things, my thoughts turned from shame to celebration. Woohoo! And I want to share, I did a TEDx, and I may have shared this with you before, but go to YouTube, type in Rena Romano and TEDx. No, I don't have a URL for it yet. Just do that, Rena Romano TEDx on YouTube, and watch my TEDx. And I talk a little bit more about this. Instead of living in that abuse, I started looking at, wow, I survived all that. And that's something to celebrate. Now, this perspective can be used by anyone, whether you've been abused or not. And someone along the way has probably bullied you, offended you, hurt you in some way. And we can't let that event control us. Hey, we lived through it. We made it to this point, and you're listening in. So how cool is that? Let's celebrate together. If you can stand up with me and do the happy dance, woohoo! That's it. Happy dance. Dance around and say, woohoo! Celebrate. We made it this far in spite of everything we've gone through. Yay! Let's celebrate that. Yeah, I know you think I'm a bit goofy, and that's okay. It's a good day to be goofy and be happy and celebrate your acceptance of what is. You are an incredible soul. And look at your courage and strength to persevere no matter what you've gone through. Hey, let's give each other a virtual high five. There you go. You rock, my friend. Here's a quote by George Orwell. And he said, "Happiness can exist only in acceptance." George Orwell was a British author, and he's right. Happiness can exist only in acceptance. Accept and be happy, my friend. Accept the reality that all that crap happened, but we made it through, and we're still making it through, and people are still going to come along and rain on our parade, but we just have to pick ourselves up every day and keep moving. You know what? We take back our power when we stop living in the what ifs that didn't happen and accept the reality of what is. And the reality is the past happened. Your past, mine. So now reality is happening right now. And if you're struggling with the what ifs, what can you do to change that? Well, one thing is you're listening to this right now, and I want to thank you for tuning in today. Another one, you can check out Byron Katie's book, Loving What Is. Now, I'm not getting any money for promoting her book. I just love sharing awesome books with you. So check it out. And the title again is Loving What Is. It is what it is. Another thing you can do is go to renaromano.com and sign up to get your free ebook, The Principles of Potential. And then jump over to the store and download the Principles of Potential MP3 or get the CD. It would make a great gift too. I'm so glad you stopped by today. And if you would do me a favor and share this podcast with your friends, and don't forget to send me an email at info, I-N-F-O, at renaromano.com. And let me know what you want to hear about, what maybe you'd like for me to discuss with you. And I will be sure to give a special shout out to you. Woohoo! How cool is that? So, thanks for stopping and tuning in. Until next week, remember, we must accept what is. Happiness can exist only in acceptance. Accept what is and continue to work on becoming even more awesome than you already are. Thanks again. And until next time, I wish you peace, love, and ciao for now.